What's up everyone, John Matrixx here for another episode of John Matrixx Talks Movies. Today, I'm going to give you my review of Alita Battle Angel. But first, if you would like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon page. You can find the link to that in the description. Any kind of support you can give me, I would very much appreciate it. Also, I'm going to be giving you my movie of the month. This is a random movie that I think more people should be watching. You can find a link to that also in the description. Now, let's jump right into my non-spoiler review of Alita Battle Angel. Now, this movie stars Rosa Salazar as Alita, Christopher Waltz as Dr. Dyson Ito. James Cameron actually produced and wrote the screenplay for this movie. And it does have a very, very James Cameron feel to it. Now, if you've seen a lot of other James Cameron movies, especially Terminator, you're going to see a lot of references to that in this movie, especially Terminator. I think that the machines that are actually in this movie really remind me a lot of Terminator. The CGI on Alita was very, very good. And I think one of the fan favorites of this movie will be the arena sequences involving the motorball sport. That is a very, very fun sport. I mean, if that was real, I would absolutely want to do it. And Alita is very, very good in all of those scenes. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Tron Legacy, you know, the games in that movie. If you actually sing that, is very similar to this. But this movie is all about Alita basically trying to find out who she is, where she came from. You know, this movie is about the aftermath of a future war. This movie takes place in 2563, and the world has pretty much been devastated, I guess, between a war between humans and cyborgs. They don't really say that in the movie, but the flashback sequences that are in this movie, that's pretty much it. And Alita is pretty much the aftermath of that war. But this movie is also really about love. Love between humans, a human, and a cyborg. Alita is a very, very caring person. Dr. Ito finds her in this scrapyard, and she grows quite attached to Dr. Ito. Dr. Ito is very protective of her. He treats her basically like his daughter. But also, Alita is also in love with this other character named Hugo, and you get to see their relationship blossom a lot. And that's a huge part of this story arc also. But make no mistake, Alita is not a lovey-dovey movie. Alita is a trained warrior. She is so great in all the action scenes. The action scenes in this movie are top-notch. If you're looking for a character that's just so strong, so powerful, yet she does have some flaws. That's the good thing I liked about Alita, because when we first meet her, she doesn't really know what kind of powers she has. But then she starts fighting, she starts winning. She's very, very powerful. But she does fail. She does fail in battle, and you actually feel for her. But she's able to rebuild herself, and she becomes more powerful than ever going forward. Now, Alita doesn't know where she's from or why she's here. She doesn't know that at all. She has like her memory is like wiped away, I guess, after the war. And I think the trailer kind of led us to believe that Christopher Waltz's character, Dr. Ito, really didn't tell her, but he does tell her, you know, where she kind of came from. And I think everybody knew where she kind of came from, so it wasn't a big secret. But the flashback scenes in the movie really kind of help establish who she was in her previous life, because she does start getting her memory back a little bit in this movie. Also, Jennifer Connelly is in this movie. Also, she's actually playing Dr. Ito's ex-wife in this movie. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from her, because watching watching Dr. Ito, especially in the beginning of the movie, I didn't know if he was necessarily who we thought he was. Was he a bad guy? Was he a good guy? It makes you question that in the beginning. Also with Hugo, the love interest of Alita, he has a different angle as well. You start to question whether he's a good guy, whether he's a bad guy. Then you find out his full story also. Now, this movie reminds me so much of like Tron Legacy. I mean, if you've seen Tron Legacy, you would actually understand the similarities. You know, even the games, you know, the motorball sport reminds me of the games in Tron Legacy. The CGI in this movie was pretty good. It's pretty much cutting edge technology they used on Alita. I mean, she looks like a cyborg. I think they did just enough to make her not look like she's a human, but they didn't go overboard with the CGI technology. So I'm going to recommend that everybody goes out and see this movie. You will really, really enjoy the end of this movie, because the end of this movie sets up a sequel. I didn't think they would do something like that going into this movie, to where it would actually set up a sequel. But James Cameron really made us care about the character of Alita. She is a strong warrior. She's a very, very strong, well-made character. So I'm hoping that James Cameron and his team move forward with a sequel to this movie. I'm really looking forward to it. I highly recommend that you guys do go out and see this movie. Just some of the little flaws. Like I said, I wish Jennifer Connelly's character had a little bit more depth to her. She didn't have a whole lot to do in this movie, I would say, because the main focus was really on, you know, Alita and Hugo and Dr. Dyson Ito, played by Christopher Waltz. But overall, I'm gonna give Alita Battle Angel an 8.5 out of 10. Go out, go and see it, support Alita. And that's pretty much all I have for you. If you guys are new here to the channel, please hit the subscribe button to catch future videos from me, and we will catch you on the next video. John Matrixx, out.